Order canceled. Order filled.
Hey guys, Chad here with Nash Tech, and today is Thursday, September 2nd. I'm going to be doing a live video on kind of how to do manual trading along with intraday setups for live trades for Algo. So it's kind of a combination between Algo and manual and how to do that with some of our indicators. It's my second day doing this. I'm going to start doing more of these. I did learn a bit about Discord and also the chat inside YouTube. So if you leave comments while this is going on, I will try to get to those. If there's a specific setup you're wanting to see, I do also have live trading going on even manually, so we can get into that, but I may have to sort of disconnect at some point if that gets too crazy to watch. Just a disclaimer too, NinjaTrader is, we're not related directly to NinjaTrader at all. We are a third-party vendor. We build on top of that platform, but please don't confuse us with that, along with the other disclaimers. Past performance is not indicative of future results. I'm sure you've heard of that before. Yeah, for all of our bots, the main purpose is to get bots that are going to be driven completely for Algo. But it does seem like, it's necessary more and more to kind of use a combination at times. Not just for safety stops and not just for things like that, but just because it can make things easier. And I like explaining it with the manual process enabled with Algo because it allows you to see the setups better. All right, so here I am. I'm in Denver here. A little bit of haze out there today. I got a camera here, so right downtown, right at Union Station. So let's start jumping into what's going on with the trading day. We are looking at the MNQ at the moment. I got two charts up because I do have some trades live at the moment here. So I'm going to keep these in place. Don't have a few OCOs. This was kind of working some things out this morning that the targets hit. This is a good reminder to always set your orders as... I'm going to turn off the mic on the speaker up the thing here. This is a good reminder to basically always set up everything as OCO whenever you're here because, it hit the limit orders. I had 4 contracts. Of course, it's not going to close these out. That's not what it does. So how do you do that if you were in here and you needed to set that? Well, you could cancel all of these.
Order canceled.
Okay, apparently I did not turn the speaker off. All right, so you could cancel all of these, and which I don't like necessarily doing when we are live here. Okay, and then if you hit Control Z, you will see OC up here, and that's going to be your OCO order. Okay, so this is where I'm going to say sell stop market and sell limit. All right, now one's going to cancel the other, OCO. Let's turn it off. Control Z again. Let's turn it back on. Guess what you hit? Control Z again. All right, so I got 2 positions open. I will set up 2 stops here, and maybe we'll go big. It's bullish. We're optimistic. And we'll leave this one a little bit safe here. All right, so we're gonna move this out of the way. We also have setups that are going to be traded. It can be a lot faster, and we might get into that with Rinko bars. I'm testing a setup for a client at the moment, and actually, let me just message him and make sure he knows I am online real quick. On our YouTube channel, So, live trading. Yesterday we did equities. I'm going to start doing equities too because I feel like sometimes with algo bots, they're really covered with futures like fast, right? Something moves on the NQ, the ES, super fast. Something moves in equities, you have more time. We have Epic Follow, which is really good for that setup. Today we're going to be using Epic Bid, which I think can really play well with any type of setup as long as it's in a range. And today, I mean, we're 2 hours into the trading day, and we do have a range, right? I guess we've definitely tapped off here with two topping tails. This is a 5-minute chart. That was right at market open, so it spiked. Okay, we got this. Now we've got we've come down to the bottom, to the low of the day, and we've touched it a couple times. So I would say that this would be our range for the moment, right? It's only 2 hours into the trading day, but that's a pretty if you were looking at a setup for opening range breakouts or things like that, you're going to be looking at that, right? At the moment, I want to set my targets up there to sell. And if it starts looking really bullish, I definitely don't want to be shorting up there if it starts to break out of that range. All right, so what we're going to be going over now is Epic Bid. Epic Bid basically looks at this range and can set, from an algo bot, it can set the limit order, and it can enable an ongoing limit order, basically. So this works great with equities too. So what is an ongoing limit order? Well, it's going to just change as the high and the low of that range. So are we looking at the last 30 bars, the last 10 bars? And then it can set the profit target in that range too. So you can bounce around. You could set it to, if you're in a tight consolidation period, you can set this range to be pretty only like the last 10 bars. All right, so we went into strategies up here. We've added Epic Bid, and let me just make sure I have my chat window open in case. On my second day with like probably 2 viewers, you guys are tuning in. All right, so we're going to set it up for position. We're going to go both short and long. We're going to do limit orders, not market orders. There is a difference here, and I'll tell you the main difference is that limit orders are placed ahead of time. So every bar, this limit price is going to change possibly because it's going to adjust to the high and low. But it does take away from your buying power. If you were trading equities and you had this set up on 100 stocks, well, that's going to take away from your buying power because you do have limit orders out there that could potentially all hit. So what would happen is if the price drops to that price, a market order would go ahead and enter. Of course, you're not going to know what price you're going to get it at, but it's not going to take away from your buying power. If you're doing this on a lot of setups with algo only, you're gonna probably have to do market orders, just because if you got 50 stocks and you're trying to get those orders may only hit maybe 4 out of the 50 stocks, but you would be potentially have all these orders out there waiting. So limit order, we're going to do an in range order. So what does that mean? Well, if the high at the moment is, I guess on the MNQ, the high at the moment is around 15,680, and the low is 15,16. That's your range. Okay, so we're going to be bidding inside the range, only just a little bit. We could just do one tick inside the range. So the higher this number is for a long entry, the higher this number is, the higher the bid price will be. If you're outside of the range, it's going to be bidding lower. It's going to be trying to get a better price than the most recent low. This is trying to get in on one of those bottoming candles or topping candles up in the top, up to short. All right, so it's looking at the last 30 bars. We're going to ignore the minimums and things. We're already 4 days past the new trading day, so we're not really worried about that. Although I don't think for futures the new trading day is going to be the same as equities. We're going to plot the recent high-low and some of these plots here. let's see here. Make sure I am. All right. So let's see. Profit. Then we get to this next part. Profit target. You can set a standard number of ticks, but again, we can also set this to be. So if you wanted to bounce around a range, if you felt pretty confident where the range was at, you could set it to recent high-low again in range. So this means it's going to bid one tick above the most recent low, and this is going to then set your profit target 5 ticks below the most recent high. If you wanted to go and you were thinking this could be quite bullish or something that you were looking for different setups, depending on how it back tests, set this to be outside the range. Okay. Let me, if you can't see that, okay, let me know. I can get this more into full screen if that would help you. That'll help people. All right, so exit after number of bars we don't care about. Required bars before re-entry. Maybe in this case, we don't, we want to wait. Sometimes that's more important in other setups. We're just going to do a standard ticks. We can do trailing, or we could also do a last bar high-low. We could do an ongoing last bar high-low. You don't tend to stay in these trades very much because you're going to stop out pretty soon. But if you're really trying to keep your tight stop loss and the setup allows for that, we have other setups that use this a lot, this ongoing last bar high-low. We're just going to do a standard 10 ticks. And we're going to just see how this looks like. We're going to ignore all of the session, profit, and target loss. These are kind of some great things to have in there to help with safety. And maybe you do want to just enable it for Algo, and you want to enable it only to run an hour after market open. All right. We're on a sim account for now. This can be useful. On bar close is okay with this setup. This is not a setup that's going to be trading all the time, right? It's like on price change on each tick. That's going to take up a lot of your resources in NinjaTrader. And on bar close is probably the best you're going to get to when it comes to back testing in terms of accuracy. There's not always the best results with Strategy Analyzer and Market Replay and historical performance, blah, blah, blah. But I will tell you that if you can get the strategy to run well on bar close and it tests well, in my opinion, it's better off than if it's on price change. And performance-wise too. You could handle 200 equities with on bar close, likely. I don't know your system resources and I don't know the setup. But having something execute on bar close is going to execute every 5 minutes in this case. Whereas on price change is possibly going to execute every single second. So if you multiply that times 20 equities, it's much better this way. All right, so we'll leave everything else here the same. Enabled is important because if you don't do this, you will wonder why it's not enabled. And then you'll come back in and say, oh, I forgot to click the button. Okay, what's going to happen now? Again, we were bidding in the range of the last 30 bars. So we have set up here. You see what's plotted up here. That's the high. And it looks to me like we've also plotted the profit target is just below it. Because if you remember, we set the profit target to be like 5 ticks, right? Above in range. So let's say, what's going to happen right now? Well, we have a limit order right here that was just now in place. And if it gets hit, that's the setup and the profit target would be up here. We could go long manually at some point. We could disable the bot. This is great to be, this is what I really mean by manual algo trading is, it's a manual setup in terms of you could still control it. You can always disable it. But this is especially great when you have setups that you don't feel comfortable going live with, but you do feel comfortable if you are in charge of being able to turn it off at any time. Because as this moves throughout the day, especially if we change that from the last 30 bars to the last 15, as this changes throughout the day, this price is going to change. It's going to look at the low of the last 15, and it's going to look at the high of the last 15 if we change that. So let's do a couple things here. Let's disable the strategy. You're not able to modify things like this. When you go into strategies, you're going to see it all grayed out. That means it's enabled. So cancel it here. We go in here. All right, so instead of setting a 1 tick, let's set this to be 20 ticks. I mean, the MNQ is going to be different than the ES, right? But 20 ticks, just so you can get a visual now of what's going on. We'll leave this at 30 bars for the last recent high-low, just so we see what this is looking like. And we'll set the profit target to be 20 ticks. We'll set it to be actually 40 ticks in the range, so that we'll see now what those two settings modified for Epic Bid. So I'm assuming that the high and low is still going to be where they were at, but now we're 20 ticks up, and now the profit target is here. The high is here. Actually, I may have to check that. It looks to me like it is going out of range. I'm gonna have to check on that. That is definitely not what I'm expecting for that to happen. It should be, this should be the high, and it should be 20 ticks below. So I'm gonna look at that. That's interesting. So let's do a couple different things so you can see, how adjusting these settings changes things. Meanwhile, just checking over here on the live trades, we seem to be doing, we're just hanging out. This is a now tiny little range by itself, right? All right, we have an incoming call from Mr. Options Bear. How you doing? Let me turn my sound on here. How you doing? I think I can get you in here. Let's see here. Turn on my camera. I just turned my audio back on. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can. Just now. Yep.
Look at me.
Look at you. Well, hang on. So we got this YouTube live streaming as I'm going to start doing this. So let me see if I'm able to do this one quick. I'm going to try to detach this, pop out, and move you over inside. Well, if you go to YouTube, and if you go to our channel on YouTube, do you see me? Do you see yourself, I guess?
Is it just you and me right now?
Well, I mean, yeah, except for it's on YouTube Live, so anybody can subscribe.
Gotcha.
And I figure I'll save these videos, to keep at a. I don't need to see my own video.
Is that you?
That's me.
I can see. Oh, I'm behind. Oh,
Yeah, so I got to get rid of this. I mean, I can turn this camera off. I may have to just turn the camera off with you.
That's fine. I prefer that.
Yeah. So I think that this will work here. You can hang out in my little window. we can look at a few setups. I was explaining how. So, all of these buttons now, we're starting to put into all of the strategies so you can do manual but still have it set to Algo.
Yeah.
And, this particular setup, I was just showing Epic Bid. What it does is it looks at a range. So the range at the moment for the MNQ, the high is here. The low is at 15.16. And what Epic Bid will do is it will bid. It'll keep an ongoing bid. So it's going to look 30 bars back, and it's going to set a price of 20 ticks above the low. Or you could have, that's in range. If you were out of range, it's going to be 20 ticks below the low. It's trying, it's bidding very low, and it'll change as the range changes. So I was going to change this just to show you the setup. If this was 25 ticks, 35 ticks, the more ticks in the range, it's going to be bidding 35 ticks above the low on a long setup. So we click enable, we will see it's going to plot the high and the low of the last 30 bars, and it's going to set and put a limit order in place for that setup. I'm surprised it wouldn't have already put an order in place. I don't know what the... Let me see.
Order failed.
Oh boy, apparently not.
Order failed.
What have you been trading today? Are you trading equities or what are you trading? Let's see. New profit target. Let's go back to 10 ticks, and let's do 20 ticks and range. I think what we'll do is change this to be 15 bars so that we can see. I want to make sure it's also set to limit orders. Yep, limit. Okay, limit ticks. Enable the bot. Stop loss 10. Okay, and we will do. Nice. Okay. So.
Order submitted.
Yeah. So what it's doing, if you see that, Brent, is it's setting a limit order ongoing. So as this continues to go, if the range maintained this, the limit order would be right in this range. Right now, it's looking at the high and low of 30 bars. So if this was to be left on a number of different setups, you'll be able to still algo. You're able to algo trade, but also have power to disable it, manually enable it, things like that. Let's just to show you the difference.
Canceled.
Let's change this to be, instead of 30 bars, we'll change it to 15 bars. Have we had 15 5-minute bars in the last, I have to do my math. Not since open, I don't know. Let's click enable again. So the only change we've made, instead of 30, is to be bidding 15 bars back instead of 30. So we'll look at it now.
Order submitted.
So it's still bidding because in the last 15 bars, this is the low, but now the high is up here. So it would be setting the target to be here now instead of way up here. If we were to do this now with the last, let's say 7 bars.
Order canceled.
7 bars, 6 bars. We are going to get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should be these.
Order submitted.
I think it's still using this setup for the last 6 bars. It is technically a closed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's likely one bar off on this. So once one more bar closes, we should see this limit price jump up to around here. It's 5 minutes, so that is 2 minutes from now. In the meantime, maybe we can get some other setups that are a little faster paced. I do also have some live trades going on, just manually going on here. They might stop out. We will see how the MNQ is doing. But I'm pretty green for the day with some other, I had a nice run up coming up to this. Obviously, these 2 signals were definitely a good time to go short, and I picked up long again down here when it tested the morning open and tested and did okay with that. It was pretty strong reversal there. Now, I don't know. Looking a little weak.
What's the difference between that epic bid and like was it, I don't know how to pronounce it, the Docenian channel or whatever? Is that kind of similar? Because it kind of looks like a similar shape. Is it different?
No, I mean epic bid is actually it's pretty basic. All it's doing really is plotting the high and the low of the last so many bars, and then it's setting a bid price to be it's setting a bid price to be above that low ongoing. So if this was now 3 hours into the trading day and it's still set to 15 bars or 30 bars, 30 bars into the trading day, it's going to have a different high-low, probably, right? And so it kind of keeps it, and then it sets the profit target. You can set the profit target. There's in range and there's out of range. So the in range would be 15 ticks below the high would be the profit target, right? Below if you were long. 15 ticks below would be your profit target. If you were out of range, it's 15 ticks above. So we're going to wait for this last we're going to wait for one more bar to finish. But in the meantime, maybe we can check out some setups that for equities. And I have a couple other strategies I was testing out for clients that are more fast-paced, might be a little bit more fun to get some money on. Have you been checking out Spirit or Support? I guess not Spirit. I'm sorry, Support. SPRT. That thing over the last week. I mean, this thing over the last week is insane. All right, we don't want a 30-second chart on this. I've been using Renko bars with a couple setups. I'll show you here in a little bit. But you got to see. First let's look at a day chart for it. Start with our bias. Every day. Okay, all right. So basics here. We've got. We definitely don't need tick replay enabled.
Spirit SPRT.
Okay. Not available to short at the moment. I was trading it a few days back up in this crazy run-up day. I mean, this thing went from 25 to 60 that day. And, I guess it's holding here for the moment at 25. Shares aren't available to short, at least with interactive brokers. But it was very, very active. AMC a few weeks back, too, was very active.
I saw that support on a bunch of Twitter people talking about it.
Yeah.
It was like one of those option flow guys.
Yeah, so even something like this, I suppose you could say could be on a daily basis. You could have that big bid. It would be bidding. It'd be keeping your bid kind of down here is what it would be doing right now. So if by chance the price were to drop, so what I'm suggesting is if you have about 20 different equities you're trading, Epic Bid could always have an ongoing low, and you could even keep a pretty tight stop loss. Because the truth is, if you bid here and you get it, and you get in, and you don't really want to hold it too much,
Yeah.
you could keep the stop pretty tight because, your entry would be, basically you're trying to be get to be one of these tails, one of these things where you get in, but, I don't know. So what scanners and what do you use? Because it'd be nice to see if we could find a nice fast-moving trade that we could set up some Renko charts on. I'll show you. Have you worked with Renko charts at all?
Yeah. I like the 10-4.
Okay.
I use that Min Renko.
Yeah, I like that one too. Let's set up for that real quick. So we've got Nia Zarenko. It seems like if I do something lower than 12 early in the day, I mean, we're 2.5 hours into the trading day, but if I do something that's like, I don't know, less than 12 early in the day, especially if it's a fast moving setup, it does not tend to do very well. It's just very choppy.
So Neo looks like it's way up today. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but
This would have been a really good setup. So I have a good setup for this called Epic Trends. It would have gotten chopped out completely over here. I mean, it would have just gotten eaten up. This is what I'm saying about market open with that kind of those kind of bars. So let me show you Epic Trends. This is basically a moving average, but if you're testing this out and you're back testing it on a daily basis, and it's testing out well, it can do okay. It can also trade a lot in a fast moving environment. I've seen this thing fly through trades. So we'll use an HMA, so you can use EMA, HMA, VMA. Without doing any optimization, we'll just see on a SIM account. So this is SIM. All right, so we got ticks, profit target. Actually, this is going to be really continuous for the most part because this trades. It'll just reverse both ways. You'll watch it. It'll be crazy. We'll change not to have a session time. I was integrating Alpaca, so later on I'm not paying for commissions, but at the moment that's very beta. Let's put this back on a sim, 5 minutes, and enabled. All right, this thing could fly. It could get noisy, like, let's see here. Reverse or continuous, we'll do both. All right, so
Order fell.
let's see what happens here.
yeah, I gotta roll for a second. I'll come back to you in just a minute.
All right, cool.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
Order submitted.
All right, so back to myself alone with my YouTube live video here.
Order fell.
Yeah, so as I was saying, this is great to start seeing setups. This would have been super, super choppy, and we would not have been profitable in that situation. But if you can get to some of these longer stretches, because it's basically closing each time you're seeing this reversal. It's closing and going the other direction.
Order fell.
So right now, we are already short. We went long. It did not enter because it was already in a position. So the only time it's going to enter at the moment, so it's still working off of historical, setup. I don't trust what this says for performance, but sometimes this can look quite nice in this setup. So this says we would have had from the last 3 days, we would have had 135 trades, which is doable. I mean, it's a lot, but that's not too much of a surprise. And, it looks good. I mean, it's definitely one that you'd want set up on a SIM account, and you'd want to just see how it goes.
Order submitted.
So this is called Epic Trends. It's mostly using a combination of moving averages. But it's also, in this setup, it's also a combination of moving averages with Rinko bars. So the biggest difference with that is the size of the block. And that size, I've looked at other Rinko bar setups that use ATR as a stop or to change, and it didn't really trade very well with that. So I'm just using this. You can find this Rinko bar online. It's free. It's Nia Rinko bar. Just Google it. It'll come up. Maybe I'll put a link to it here in the video. So what we're waiting for now, this is going to be a faster setup. But what it's going to do is, historically, it's going to close this position. And it's going to go live. It's going to, should go into a live position if this changes.
Order submitted.
So that's what just happened. Okay, so I didn't do anything. Hands up, I didn't do anything. But it's now in a position, and it's got 100 shares here of AMC. It went long here. So where this does well is if we're going to be able to get any kind of fast movement. It's going to get out super fast when it reverses. So you're basically in a very fast-paced environment with high volume, which we could search for different stocks in a stock scanner. If you guys have any recommendations, put them in the YouTube chat. I have traded this very well in fast-moving stocks, very, very well, because it can go and get out. So you're really capturing the momentum, and then you're getting out as soon as it's shifted. In this case, I would not consider this fast. It's faster than a 5-minute chart. But if you start seeing this stuff, you're getting really chopped up. I mean, you're in and out real fast. This over here, though, as long as you get one nice stretch like this, and if you're getting one of those every so often, this is probably more like break even compared to what's going on here. If you get one of these, what you're really hoping is to get more of these long stretches. Not too bad here either. It's okay. You stopped out, you went long again. The larger brick sizes you have in this setup, the better. Let's come back over to Epic Bid. Let's see how this is doing. First of all, we are now, all right, we stopped out there. This is a live setup that I need to treat a little differently. See what's going on here. All right.
Order canceled.
So let's see what happened here. It looks like we went short again. So now we went short. We reversed. We weren't down too much. It's not like this is probably why the commissions are the biggest piece here when you have a setup that's going to be in and out 100 times a day. And it also appears, you have to definitely want that to be, you probably want to do more than like 10 shares. Depending on what you're trading, sometimes in different brokers, you can do one share and it's great for backtesting, right? Because you're just doing one share at a time if you have no commissions. Unfortunately, TD Ameritrade does not trade well with NinjaTrader. The integration is not good. You can't change your stop loss. You can't change your OCO orders. You can't do any of that. So we've been coding and integrating some things with Alpaca. We've also been doing, this is also now set up and trading with Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers setup, beautiful, works amazing, but you're definitely looking at some commissions. You're not getting that free. There's some. At first, I thought, who still charges commissions? But actually, there's some perks I found to that, in terms of routing, in terms of kind of get what you pay for type situation. And I also think that, if you can make money algo trading with commissions, then if you figure out a way to get around the commissions, even better, because it's, you already have the commissions built in. All right, so let's see what happened here. I don't know if we. Let's see. We had this running. I'm not sure if it would have disabled because I had two things running. I'm not sure why, actually. It could be that there's no reason to have a limit order at the moment because it's already down there. The low was here. So if you see this is where the bid price went. That we were doing like 6 bars now. I'll show you another good way to see what's going on here. So let's do 20 bars, ongoing, and jump back to AMC, see if we're still in. Yeah, we're short. Could be choppy. This isn't really moving very fast. I need to get on some good scanners to find a good setup that's moving fast at the moment. This is just going to chop us out. It's going to consistently trade though, so if you like setups where you're consistently in a trade,
order canceled.
that's what just happened. We went
Order
long.
submitted.
We went long. We closed our short right here. I mean, usually if these happen, you're hoping to grab the money that it would at least charge commission. You know, we were up like $4 here on 100 shares. So you're hoping to like now cover,
Order submitted.
you know, that. Might be picking up a little steam here. These bricks are generating a bit faster. Man, the NQ, I don't know. It's fading here.
Order failed.
It is fading. I am still quite green for the day, so
Order
I'm quite
failed.
happy with that. But just looking at it from a
Order failed.
perspective, I have a lot of strategies running, so if you keep hearing that, that's what's going on. Yeah, interesting. All right, so I think this is plenty for the day. If you have questions on Epic Bid, let me know. Epic Trends. You can download our trial at nashtech.xyz/trial. That is, let's see, pretty basic here. Let's see. New window. Yeah, so you can get it's a free trial and get acquainted with all of the setups, strategies. That's just one of the strategies there. So go to nashtech.xyz/trial. We have videos on all of these too. So if you go and check out Epic Bid, it'll have a specific video. I cover a little bit about the stuff we're talking about at the moment. But it has a lot more detail into the strategy and into the setup. Epic Follow, I've done a video on recently. Epic Profits, this is kind of known as a 3-bar play from a lot of traders out there. Epic Squeeze, if you're familiar with TTM Squeeze or from Simpler Trading, they're set up around the squeeze with Bollinger Bands. This is a great setup. I've actually been back testing Epic Squeeze with Rinko bars too. I did that in yesterday's video. We'll see how that works. So as long as this long stretch keeps going, this is a pretty nice setup. We're $24 in the green just on this one trade, and even if it reverses now, you know, we got enough to cover fees and things. We're looking for this. We're getting chopped up in this. But we're also not getting beat up. Like, we're not going to stay in a trade that's really bad. So as this thing runs, now we're at 40 bucks. This thing runs in a nice way. Let's just hold off to. Of course, I guess if we end it now, we can end it nicely with a good demo here. So yeah, what it's going to do here is if this starts to reverse now, it's just going to get out immediately. So we would have locked in 40 bucks. Let's just say we got really bad slippage. We're still going to lock in, 30. And if this brick doesn't end up red, we can keep going. And it's also looking at a moving average. It's not looking at just one single red brick, right?
Order canceled.
All right, so we locked in maybe 30 bucks, and now we're going the other way. And yeah, so we'll see. So that's Epic Trends. For all of our other setups, we'll keep doing videos. I have one coming out on Epic U-Turn shortly. So All right, so I appreciate your time. Check us out, and we will say goodbye here. Let's let me just end here. If you're too scared to go live, you can contact us. Let us know. I'm happy to do a Zoom call with you if you're looking for your own custom setup. We do those. We do custom algo coding for NinjaTrader, all C#.
Order submitted.
So thank you very much.